Thank you very much for this opportunity, Ambassador and your team, Professor Munyai and your colleagues from UJ, Africans and members of the world community. I'm here to try and flesh out our lessons from China. In particular, this new idea of technology as a productive force, technology as a driver of economies. We're very keen to learn from China. What are we learning from China? We're learning around the issue of production, driving production. We're learning from China the idea of productivity, driving productivity. Learning from China the idea of driving productivity growth. Those three things are related but different. Production, productivity, productivity growth. How can we use high quality to drive production? How can we use high quality to drive productivity, to drive productivity growth? How do we get high quality? By two drivers, two key drivers that produce high quality: innovation and technology. We are learning from China right now as we speak that we must use innovation, we must use technology to improve the quality of our products. And then high quality becomes the key driver of productivity, production, and productivity growth. Now, how does innovation work? Innovation allows us to have new products, better products. Innovation allows us to have better methods of production, better systems. So innovation is critical insofar as we can use innovation to create new products, to create new systems, to create new methods. We must embrace innovation. That is the message from China. Technology is a major driver of quality. With technology, we can have better products. With technology, we can have more efficient systems of production. With technology, you can have better quality of life for our people. In particular, China is very keen on artificial intelligence as a type of technology to drive productivity and production growth. We want to be taking these lessons from China around technology and innovation as drivers of high quality, but in particular, the artificial intelligence as a revolution. Now, how do we seek to do this? We as Africans would want to learn from China. As South Africa, as a country, we want to learn as South Africa as a country. As Malawi, we want to learn from China. As Ghana, we want to learn from China. But we want to say a much better approach to learning from China must be through blocks, our regional blocks, so that we have interaction with China as SADC, as East African Community, as ECOWAS, but more importantly, as the African continent. So, Ambassador, yes to driving imports from South Africa, yes to driving trade between South Africa and China, but more important to us as Africa, we would want you, in addition to that, to work up frameworks where the engagement between China is with the African continent so that we have scale and impact. Why? We are learning from you. Why are you successful as China? Number one, market size. 1.4 billion Chinese working together. Size of your economy, $3 trillion GDP. $3 trillion GDP. No, $19 trillion GDP. $19 trillion GDP. 19. Number three lesson, leadership. Quality of leadership. Planning. So those are the three drivers of the Chinese economy. Technology, market size, size of economy, and leadership. when we learn from you, we learn that why don't we engage as Africa? What is Africa? Now, Africa, when we work together, we're talking about 1.4 billion Africans. Our collective GDP, $3.1 trillion. It will make much more sense for China to engage us as a market of 1.4 billion Chinese. More economies of scale for you, more money for you, more success for you, more benefits to us, more impact for us. We want, in addition to engaging China as countries, to be engaging China as an economy of Africa. 1.4 billion Africans with a collective GDP of $3.1 trillion. That's the level, the platform by which we desire to effectively engage China. A big economy of 1.4 billion Chinese, GDP $19 trillion, and China, which is being led very well using technology. It gets better, Ambassador. It gets better. You must engage us at the level that we call global Africa. Now, we're talking about Africa, the continent, and its diaspora. The Africans in the Caribbean, the Africans in America, the Africans in Latin America, the Africans in Europe. What are the numbers? We are now talking about 2 billion Africans from the continent and the diaspora. Can you imagine, Ambassador, if you're going to be dealing with a market of 2 billion people? That's a huge opportunity for products to China, for products from China to 2 billion people. The GDP is a bit tricky because the Africans in the diaspora are individuals and communities, but the estimation is that global Africa has a collective GDP of about $4 trillion. So we add another trillion to our 3.1. Global Africa is the platform that we seek to use because it gives us economies of scale, 2 billion Africans with a collective GDP of $4 trillion. It gets better, Professor Munyai. It gets better. There's a better platform. We talked about Africa. We talked about global Africa. There's global South. Why don't you work together at the global South level? We bring in India, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, global South, or global majority. Global majority. What are the numbers? 6.6 billion people are in the global South. 83% of the world. And of course, global South includes China as well. Now, when we talk global South, it's serious influence, it's serious economics. 6.6 billion people. The collective GDP, want the number? $40 trillion. $40 trillion. Of course, we have China putting in 19. Of course, 19 is yours already. But there's 21 from your friends in the global South. I'm saying to you, Ambassador, yes, you're ambassador to South Africa. Yes, you're about trade and imports from South Africa, exports to South Africa. But beyond that, engage us as Africa, engage us as global Africa, engage us as the global South. $40 trillion. What is global GDP? Global GDP is $100 trillion. So although we are the global majority at $6.6 billion, in terms of GDP, we are smaller than the global North. But it's okay. With your help, working together, and as I know and you know, China is going to overtake America in the year 2030. Right now, America's GDP is $25 trillion. China is following very closely at 19. And the projection is that in the year 2030, China will be the biggest economy in the world. Let us be big together. And you can achieve that goal faster when you engage us as Africa. You can achieve that goal faster if you engage us as global Africa. You can achieve it even more when we energize the lessons and collaboration in the global South. I conclude on summarizing the lessons. Africans, wake up. If you are going to learn from China, understand the value of technology, understand the value of AI. AI is going to transform every sector: agriculture, mining, healthcare, tourism and hospitality. There's no sector which won't be dramatically improved by AI. The lesson from China is, let us embrace technology, nanotechnology, synthetic biology, battery energy storage systems, renewable energy, technology, technology, technology. Second lesson from China: South Africa is too small. You are not consequential as a country. What are your numbers? 65 million people population, GDP $403 billion, chicken change. $403 billion GDP is nothing. It's not consequential. 65 million people is nothing. We must talk about SADC, 300 million people. We must talk about the African continent. I've given you the numbers already. So Africans must understand the value of integration and political unity so we can live at scale. Second lesson, or third, with the technology, we've got numbers, leadership. This Chinese story is not just coming from numbers and technology. It is produced by good leadership, ethical leadership, no corruption. Ambassador, you forgot to tell them that when you are corrupt in China, they shoot you. Ambassador, you must tell us. You don't tell us. You try to be nice. Tell these Africans, when you steal in China, we shoot you. Lesson to Africa: let us have ethical leadership. Let us do little. Let us remove corruption. Let us have leaders who are able. And by the way, also, Ambassador, tell us, Ambassador, you are hiding some secrets from us. When you look at the last Chinese presidents, go and Google them or use ChatGPT. Xi Jinping, Hu Jintao, Google the last 4 presidents of China. Look at their resumes. Ambassador didn't tell us. They're engineers. Sorry, no, you're not an engineer. It's okay. They're engineers. China is being run by clever people, technocrats. Who's running your countries? Dimwits. Thank you very much for this opportunity.